Okay, welcome to the first meeting of 2025. For many of us, it's not quite as new and exciting maybe as Ryan Hildebrandt, whose very first official council meeting. Welcome to the table.
Thank you, appreciate it.
We acknowledge that the city of Winkler is situated on Treaty 1 land, the home of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Dene peoples in the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that have been made on these territories. We acknowledge that there have been harms and mistakes in the past, but we dedicate ourselves to a future based on respect of all peoples, including Indigenous communities, in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration, moving forward to a harmonious and prosperous future together. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular council meeting of January 14th, 2025 be adopted. Mover?
Andrew?
Second?
Ryan?
Any additions?
Can we get feedback or what?
Yes, I have an addition.
Okay.
What was my addition? No, I forget what it was.
The adoption of the.
And the audited financial statements. There you go.
Correct.
For 2023.
Mover, second to that?
Sure. Michael?
Michael, thank you very much. Those have been circulated to each one of us. They've been presented to us as well. We've had an opportunity to ask questions if we've had. Wondering if there are any further questions here tonight.
So we're adding that to the finance portion?
Oh, I put
Is
it
that
on
one?
there already. My apologies. It's been too long since we've done this. Why are we debating it right now, guys?
We're not,
Right.
we're just adding it to
Exactly.
the
No,
agenda.
no.
That's right. Oh,
I
okay.
was halfway through debating it.
Debating it with himself.
Isn't that something? I can argue even with myself.
Too much sun.
Okay, with that addition to the agenda,
Sorry.
are we all in favor of the agenda?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. Oh, boy, guys, 2025 is going to be a long year. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting of December 10th, 2024 be adopted. Mover?
Peter?
Second?
Don?
Any thoughts on what you see there? All in favor? Carried. Continuing on then into our correspondence, we have our MMSM funding letter for 2025. It's nice to see that number being much more similar to 2022 than it's been recently, so good to see the numbers going up and the contribution there.
That's a lot of tons of recycling.
Yes, it is.
930, that's a big number.
Yep. Well done, Winkler. We'll keep going on the meeting, guys. Don, if you continue to help Ryan, that would be good.
Keep going, yeah.
Perfect. Moving then into finance, be it resolved that accounts payable in the amount of $10,172,976.60 as approved by the finance committee be approved for payment. Mover?
Andrew?
Second?
Don?
Questions? Not seeing any. All in favor? And we are carried. Taking us then to our check register. As always, they're there. You have an opportunity to review. Financial statement, be it resolved that the financial statement and report for November 2024 be received for information. Mover.
Andrew?
Second.
Peter?
Thank you. The report and a very nice explanation from corporate services are attached. Does that give you everything that you need there? Any questions? All in favor? And that is carried. Seeing as how we finalize our budget at annual planning and then bring it back here, we do need to give our staff some authority, some ability to operate until we have an approved budget in place. So on an annual basis, we approve an interim budget. Those that have been here know this already. those that have watched online probably have a pretty good clue about it. But this is a piece that we do every year. This gives our staff an ability to operate the city until such a time as our budget is approved. So therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to section 163 of the Municipal Act, Council hereby adopts the interim budget for all operations and capital expenditures for 2025 until the adoption of the annual estimates as follows. Operations requirements, general government, $656,500. Information technology, $34,500. HR and communication, $86,000. Protective services, $1,782,000. Transportation services, $1,185,000. Garbage collection services, $363,000. Planning services, $288,500. Economic development services, $288,500. Health and welfare, $219,500. Recreation and cultural services, $651,000. And fiscal services for $715,000, totaling $6,269,500. Mover?
Andrew?
Second.
Don?
Thoughts or comments?
This gets us how far?
This would get us through to a minimum of
March?
end of
March, I think.
March.
Anybody else kicked out of their
Yep.
meeting?
Yeah, this gets us till we adopt a financial plan, which is usually either this first or second meeting in March.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Continuing on then, Board of Revisions,
It's screwed up.
and we're kicked out
Out of
of
the
our
system?
system, and I don't know that I have a printed copy of today.
Hang on one sec.
Yeah, can he get on? No.
We have an excellent program most of the time, but every now
Yes.
and then it kicks us out.
I can you pass that down to Henry for now?
Just happened something.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly, it's your fault, right?
so we'll do it, we'll do it old school. Be it resolved that the mayor and all of City Winkler Council be appointed to the Board of Revision and the city manager be appointed as the secretary of the Board of Revision for the year 2025. Mover?
Andrew?
Second?
Peter?
Peter? This is on an annual basis. If people have objections to make, they come to the Board of Revision and we debate them. We have the responsibility to determine if the objection is valid or not, and then to go from there. Any other questions? All in favor? Carried. Did Jody grab the names, or would you like me to, Jody, as I go?
It's back.
Back, okay.
Excellent.
Ah, perfect.
Continuing on then to item 6.5. Be it resolved that accommodation tax bylaw number 2328-24 be read a first time. Mover.
Andrew?
Second.
Michael?
What this is putting this on the floor so we can have a public hearing with regards to it. This is the accommodation tax bylaw that we've been working on for some time. We've had an opportunity to meet with the hotel group last year. They expressed some concerns in terms of timing and in terms of rate, so we've made some adjustments to it. We have circulated that to the group, so they've had an opportunity to see it. I suspect that if they have some concerns, they will likely join us when the public hearing is scheduled.
If I might, we are not required to have a public hearing for a bylaw such as this. However, it's always council's choice to hold a public hearing. So we can certainly do that and schedule it, but that would be outside the requirement of the province.
So help me understand, Jody, this reading the first reading and putting it on the floor, simply gives us then an opportunity to do what before second and third reading?
With the bylaws that don't require provincial approval, there's still, in the Municipal Act, the requirement that any bylaw has to have 3 readings, and they cannot all be done in one meeting. And I think a lot of the purpose for that is just to allow some time to think through fully the bylaw and have opportunity for members of council to be able to fully consider
Okay.
how they view it.
Thank you for that additional information,
Yep.
Jody. Any thoughts on this? It's attached, you have an opportunity to see it. We tried to take considerations as much, the comments as much into consideration as we could. We delayed it by just over a year. Then we implemented at a slower pace to get to 3 years to try to take as many of the concerns as possible into consideration to make this as seamless as possible. Obviously, our goal with this is to have an opportunity for us to generate some of the economic development and event dollars that benefit the hotels. Hopefully, this will help us to generate more and additional events, but more so than that, we don't have to go back to our local taxpayer to ask them for those dollars. These are paid not by the hotels, but by the guests of the hotels. And if anyone has stayed anywhere recently, you will see a couple of these charges on your bills when you check out. No additional thoughts or comments? I did mention hearing. There's no requirement to do a hearing. Is there a desire on council's part that we do so, or with the consultation that we've already had with the group, do we feel that that is enough?
I think we talked about this for years already,
We have.
so yeah, I don't think we need to keep going forward.
And I should mention as well, and I believe most of you know it, Ryan may not, as you're a little bit later here. This is a joint Winkler-Morton initiative. We wanted to make sure that in everything we did, we made it the playing field level, and that we treated everybody fairly. We've worked very closely with the city of Morton on this.
Is the timing lining up too?
Exactly.
Yep.
Are they doing a public hearing?
I don't believe so.
Not to our knowledge.
Okay.
Good.
Not seeing anything further? All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that council indemnity bylaw number 2324-25 be read a first time. Mover?
Andrew?
Second?
Don?
And I should correct myself, 2334-25. Any thoughts or comments on that? It is attached there. This is again a requirement because this is about pay to ourselves. This is a requirement that we are fully open and transparent with absolutely everything about it. So this happens on an annual basis. And in this instance, there are no changes to it other than the COLA increase that all of our staff also received at 1.5%. Is that correct, Jody?
That is.
Perfect. Anything further? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the following amendments be made to Schedule D of the Fees and Charges Bylaw number 2285-22. Mover.
Andrew?
Pete got it, Andrew got the second. As you see in your notes there, the Accessibility for Manitoba's Act requires that this plan is updated every 2 years.
Oh, that's the next
That's the
one.
next one.
Why am I so fast today, guys?
Fees and charges. It's the cemetery stuff.
Thank you very much. The changes that we see is basically just the cemeteries,
That's
Jody?
right. Yep.
Any other thoughts or comments? All in favor? Carried. I get the feeling that next week, Andrew and I are gonna have to change seats here. When I watch you online, you do
Oh
an
my
excellent job. Be it resolved that the City of Winkler Council receive the attached 2025-2026 accessibility plan as information. Mover?
Michael?
Second.
Ryan?
Nicely done, thank you, Ryan. As I was busy trying to say to everybody already, the Accessibility for Manitoba's Act requires that the plan is updated every 2 years. This updated plan was submitted to Department of Families Compliance Secretariat prior to the deadline as required. Following is email received in reply, which basically says, thank you for submitting a copy of the plan. I have taken the opportunity to review the plan. I'm pleased to advise that it meets compliance with requirements. So at this point in time, I think we're ready to approve it, unless you guys have questions or thoughts. All in favor? Carried. Continuing then to our utility arrears, be it resolved that the attached utility arrears to be added to their respective tax rolls. Mover,
Peter?
second.
Michael?
You guys see the list. It's there by address, so it's not by name, but by address. You see what the numbers are. It's, I think, mostly fairly similar to previous ones with the exception of one fairly large one.
Yeah, what's,
There is a question in the shared notes area that I think we would love to see an answer to.
as long as they know what's, like, you know,
Correct.
yeah.
So this goes back about 2 years from now when we had some discrepancies on the water meters.
Okay.
And some businesses had very large water bills.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
they
yeah,
were
yeah.
kept on the utility side for 2 years, but because of our tax sale that the municipality has to do if there's something outstanding after 2 years.
Mhm.
So that's why we have to move it to the taxes now.
Okay.
So that's what happened for this
Okay.
property.
They've been discussed with in person?
They know that, yes.
Yeah,
Excellent.
that's good.
Yeah, there was a agreement to work it out over
Yeah.
time.
Years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Excellent.
And the majority of what you see has been paid off already. This is just what's left over and owing.
Okay, good.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you. That was David Martins, our Director of Corporate Services, providing those additional information to us. Any other questions? All in favor? We're carried. Moving then into the business that I tried to do before the meeting even started. Whereas the 2023 audited consolidated financial statements have been prepared and presented by Exchange Group. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council for the City of Winkler table the 2023 audited consolidated financial statements as presented. Mover,
Andrew?
second.
Don?
As I mentioned earlier, these have been circulated to you. These have also been presented to us this afternoon. We had an opportunity to ask some questions there, and we did ask quite a few. Do you have anything left that you need to comment on or ask before we approve? All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the minutes for the Fire Committee meeting of December 11th, 2024 be adopted. Mover?
Michael?
Second. You'll need some help.
Ryan?
Thank you very much. Attached, you see the reports. Anything there, Michael, that we should be paying particular attention to?
No, I think year-end numbers were comparable to prior year. One minor detail on the minutes there, the minutes are showing March, it should be December.
Excellent, thank you for that. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the Police Board minutes of April 10th, 2024 be adopted. Mover?
Andrew?
Second.
Ryan?
And the reason for these minutes here, they weren't added earlier, so that's why we're doing them today.
Yeah, that's a long time.
You guys have any questions or thoughts on what you see there?
Can't see it.
You saw it
It's
earlier.
Kicked out again.
Yeah. No concerns.
Okay. And all in favor? Carried.
Did you print out the?
I will need Next ones, please. Thank you very much.
8.1.
That takes us to transportation and utilities. Be it resolved that council hereby authorize Manitoba Hydro to make the following changes to the street lighting system in the city of Winkler on Icon Drive and Norland Drive. Mover?
Peter.
Second.
Michael?
These are things that we typically do when we have the new additions. We add them, we start paying them, and we have nice lights. Thoughts or questions on them? We know where Icon and Norland are. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the bylaw number 2312-24, waste collection levy schedule for 2025 be given second reading to adjust Schedule B. Mover?
Andrew?
Second.
Peter.
Jody, if you could tell us how Schedule B is adjusted, that would be much appreciated if you have that in paper copy in front of you.
I'll, David, do you wanna give the explanation there?
You're talking about a waste collection bylaw?
That's right.
Yes.
So what we do every year, we do add and subtract the dwelling units that either got added by permit or subtracted by demolition in the city of Winkler. And this year, we also reviewed the schedule from that last year. And so there was one property that got removed as considered multifamily. And this bylaw is for single residential only. If you look at the schedule, we have not highlighted changes because it's very
It's
many
very
pages.
long.
It would be very long, but
So those are just all the additions.
because of the removal of the one multifamily, it's a very similar number to last year.
The schedule shows all of the roll numbers to which it applies.
Got it.
Correct. And the fee of $160 also stayed the same. That's the same fee we charged last year as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, David. Additional questions or thoughts? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2312-24, waste collection levy schedule for 2025 be given third reading to adjust Schedule B. Mover?
John?
Second.
Ryan?
Final chance for questions? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the Winkler District Healthcare Board meeting minutes for the November 18th, 2024 meeting be received for information. Mover?
Don?
Second. You'll probably need help.
Ryan?
Thank you very much. Meeting minutes were attached. Any questions or thoughts on them?
No.
All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the MSTW reports and minutes for November 2024 be received for information. Mover?
Don Friesen?
Second.
Michael?
Again attached. Any questions or comments, Don, that we should pay attention to?
Oh, it's it's nice thing, the single families actually went up a bit this year, which is good. And I don't know, I think I missed the last meeting, but we did hire another inspector,
Nice.
so that was good. So a younger guy too, because we know some of our
Just
people.
part 9?
Like,
Like
yeah,
just residential?
yeah,
or we do
residential,
commercial too?
yeah, residential,
Okay,
yeah,
not
just,
commercial?
no, residential. And the
Very nice.
contract
And
works.
just building, not plumbing?
Building only, I believe, yep. Yep, so but anyways, yeah, so he's just started in training, so it,
Okay.
say it takes about 5 years to get him going, so, yeah, so it's good.
And obviously, the consulting work we do for our neighbors helps to make that
Really,
possible.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's-
which is really exciting.
And it should also be noted that you've taken on a new role with MSTW.
Yep.
Thank you for agreeing to serve
I
as vice
lobbied
chair.
for weeks for that position.
You lobbied for weeks not to take it, I think is how it went.
No.
Who's chair?
Doug Frost,
Okay.
Morton, yep.
No further comments? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that bylaw 2323-24 be given a second reading. Mover?
I can start it.
Thank you. Second?
Michael?
Jody, what are we looking at here?
Hang on one second, I'm getting my system back.
Oh, we got our system back.
Was that Bonneville Bay
Yeah,
one?
this
Yeah,
is
that's-
Bonneville.
Yes, this is
Computer.
the Bonneville,
Bay, Bonneville Crescent?
so that was just a long-standing, almost like administrative thing where the addressing, the way people were using it were correct, but the actual official name of the road didn't match that. So we're just lining that up.
It's very nice to see and appreciate as well, Jody, that we reached out to the community and had that discussion with them, so nobody is surprised by it. And in fact, my understanding is everybody said, yeah,
Please.
so it's
Yeah.
good.
At first, some of them thought that we were gonna change their name completely, and they're already, there's already confusion, how come they're
Yeah.
changing it again on us?
Yeah.
And then when they found out we were just making sure that we fixed it, then everybody loved it.
But they're self-declared as Candy Cane Lane, right?
Exactly.
We just don't wanna change
Roughly
their
45 days a year, yes. All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that bylaw 2323-24 be given third and final reading. Mover.
Andrew?
Second.
Ryan.
Final chance for comments. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that bylaw 2330-24, lot grading and drainage bylaw being an amendment to 2200-18 be given second reading. Mover.
Michael?
Second.
Peter?
Jody, anything particular we should be particularly aware of other than the red lines that are through there?
Yeah, just essentially, this was the amendment where we wanted to change the bylaw so that the deposit is returned to the registered owner of the property. Because often that lot grading is completed after it changes hands, and we want to ensure that, that the work still does take place, and
Yep.
therefore the deposit goes to the owner that does complete the work.
Excellent. Thank you. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that bylaw 2330-24, lot grading and drainage bylaw, being an amendment to 2200-18, be given third reading. Mover?
Don?
Second.
Ryan.
Last chance to change your mind or comment. All in favor? Carried. That takes us to rezoning for, be it resolved that bylaw number 2329-24 be given first reading. Mover?
Andrew?
Second.
Don?
And this is exactly as I mentioned earlier. This puts it on the floor and allows us to advertise for the public hearing, and people have an opportunity to speak to it.
That's right.
All in favor?
And Henry will need to go back one to 11.6. Or two, 11.6 and 11.7.
Did I skip one?
2.
That's better than one, I guess.
If you're gonna skip.
Skip big.
Be it resolved that bylaw number 2332-24 be given second reading. Mover?
Peter?
Second.
Michael?
Okay, and Jody, if you could help us out on the changes that we're looking at here?
Yeah, this, the building bylaw was very old, and so this updates it to our current day. It also was brought through planning committee and approved there, so now we're just going and making the official changes.
Was there any major ones to note?
I don't believe
Okay.
so, I'd have to take a quick look at those minutes, but,
And this
no,
was
there
done a
was-
while.
I know, that's why I forget what they
Yeah,
all were.
this was done quite a time ago.
there was,
Okay.
you know what, Andrew, I'm sorry, I would have to go back and look at some of those
okay.
changes.
It was primarily housekeeping.
I believe it was, and then there may have been some of the fees in there that were quite out of date from the Municipal Act and the Planning Act on page 27. I think that was part of it as well.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2332-24 be given third and final reading. Mover.
Ryan.
Second.
Peter.
Additional final comments? All in favor? Carried. That takes us back into community services. Be it resolved that the Central Manitoba Tourism minutes for the December 9th, 2024 meeting be received for information. Mover?
Michael?
Second.
Ryan.
Anything there we should be aware of, Michael?
Nothing new out of there. They had a decent year, in regards to just getting some traction again. And, yeah, just some ideas on how to grow that brand, the coming year.
Noticing that there are some municipalities choosing not to
Yes.
participate anymore.
Yes, there are some that, have opted out because, 2025, there's fees attached to membership.
Okay,
And, I'm sure that'll come up next week.
I'm sure it will. Any additional questions or comments?
What's the owl?
Owl, those tables, speakers, so.
And
because-
camera.
Yeah, and the camera, because when you're doing it on Zoom,
Oh, I thought you maybe brought some kind of figurine that all your meetings. I was like, what?
So,
What do you
so
need an
the owl
figurine?
uses like multi-camera
Okay.
to focus on the speaker and show the whole group at the same time, and then it picks up the sound as well.
Okay. No further questions? All in favor? Carried. And if I haven't missed anything else at this point in time, be it resolved that this regular meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding public hearings. Mover?
Andrew?
Second?
Ryan.
All in favor? Carried. That takes us then to public hearing for variance application number VA 2024-18 for 1350 Crystal Drive. Jody.
So this is applicant Brady Lowen on behalf of owners Brady and Katrina Lowen, 1350 Crystal Drive. Purpose here is in order to construct an addition to a single unit dwelling in the R1 zone. And the request is to reduce the front north yard setback from the required 25 feet to 16 feet 6 inches. And secondly, to reduce the side east yard setback from the required 5 feet to 3 feet 10 inches. We have no objections to this application. There's a number or some notes to council available there, giving some context on the setbacks here. Essentially, it'll bring it into compliance as there's not really anything changing once everything is said and done. So staff see, barring any objections, staff see this as something to be approved.
Okay, thank you, Jody. Do we have somebody here wishing to speak to this application? Either for or against? Okay, and I hate to do this, but we do broadcast each one of our meetings, so I would ask you to come to the microphone and just state your name, and then state that.
My name is Brady Lowen, and I am for this application.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
And Mr. Peters?
My name is Alfred Peters. I did a major renovation on Crystal Drive 2 years ago. It's one of the oldest bays in town, and we're trying to improve it. And I think I did quite a nice one, and I'm sure Brady will do a good job too, so whatever works, I'm in favor of it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, both of you. Is there anyone here wishing to speak to that? Not seeing anyone. Does council have questions of either of the proponent or the supporter?
I drove by it this afternoon, and it looks like it's quite doable. Past the site, I should say.
Not seeing further questions of council, be it resolved that the public hearing for variation application number VA 2024-018 be closed. Mover.
Peter,
Second.
Ryan.
Questions, comments? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that council approve variance number VA 2024-018, subject to MSTW building permit approval and city lot grading and drainage approval. Mover.
Don?
Second.
Michael?
Final thoughts?
What were those two conditions that you just said?
MSTW building permit
Okay.
and city lot grading and drainage.
Okay,
You're okay?
that's all standard. Like, do we need lot grading after, if it's been in this shape for how many years?
That is my understanding from planning and engineering. Was that communicated to you as well, Brady? Okay.
Okay. All in favor? That is carried. Continue the improvement in that area. Thank you very much. Be it resolved that public hearings be adjourned and regular council reconvene. Mover.
Ryan.
Second.
Michael?
All in favor? Carried. That then takes us to other business and our community spotlight. Today, we're pleased to hear from Winkler Arts and Culture. We will give you the floor. And again, I'll ask you to introduce yourself, and the floor is yours.
See ya.
See you. Thanks.
See you guys.
Yeah, it's coming.
Hey, good evening. Thanks so much for having us here this evening. My name is Jared Hildebrand. I'm the Executive Director for Winkler Arts and Culture. Just wanted to share a little bit about what 2024 looked like for us, and share a little bit about some future plans as well, going into 2025 now. Before I get into all of that, just wanted to share also our mission statement, which has remained for a number of years. But Winkler Arts and Culture is a volunteer organization whose mission is focused on providing opportunities to share art in its various forms while celebrating the culture that brings art alive. Winkler Arts and Culture is dedicated to providing opportunities to teach, share, celebrate artistic and cultural expression through education, programs, and community space. So who is Winkler Arts and Culture? So we've got two staff, myself, and then we've got program assistant Jane Anratisen, who came on this year to help with our expanding program and events. And we've got quite a bit of change besides that. This year we have Valerie Clausen, who has moved into the chair position. And of course I didn't follow my notes here. Yeah, and we have four board members, new board members as well. Alicia Hildebrand, who was the former executive director, is helping us with grant policy support. And Shepard Shiwandiri, Joey Siemens, and Ngozi Okoye have joined us as well as members at large. We're very excited to gain these fresh perspectives as they all come with skills that we are sure will help us a great deal. And Brian Clausen has continued as treasurer, and Don Friesen continues to help us as the city representative. Before I share a little bit more about what we've been up to, I do want to acknowledge the City of Winkler's support. We're incredibly grateful for the city's generous support. The yearly operating grant and the provision of our building space, in addition to maintaining the property, make it possible for us to fulfill our mission. While we are always working towards becoming more self-sufficient, this funding helps cover critical needs such as staffing, utilities, and other operating costs, allow us to focus on serving the community through our arts and cultural programming. So growth in 2024. This past year, we welcomed 3,715 visitors, which is a substantial increase from the 1,215 in 2023. So if you like stats, that's 206% growth. That sounds pretty good to me. Breaking this down, we had a total of 1,759 just general visitors to the gallery, but even more than that, 1,956 participants in our workshops and events. Our visitors came from all over Manitoba, as far as Pinawa Bay, Grand Beach, Winnipeg, Brandon, St. Laurent, and even Thompson. And going outside the province, we saw visitors from Ontario, Saskatchewan, British Columbia, North Dakota, Colorado, and Wisconsin. Our programming also expanded this year. We held 38 events and workshops in 2024 compared to 34 in 2023. Additionally, we offered 10 six-week after-school art classes, up from the 7 we offered in 2023. We've got some program and event highlights to share with you as well. So when you think about the gallery, a lot of people the first thing they think about is exhibits. This year we had 10 different art exhibits displayed in our gallery. Altogether, we had approximately 350 individual pieces of art presented. The majority of the artists were from right here in Winkler, but we also had artists participate who are located anywhere from Emerson to Winnipeg to Manitou and everywhere in between. Looking at culture and music, our monthly newcomer welcome evenings have continued, which started last year. This has been a great opportunity not only for Winkler natives and longtime residents to welcome those who now call Winkler their home, but it's also been extremely helpful for newcomers to learn more about our city, its services, recreational options, and ask questions that they might not be sure who to ask. And if we don't know the answer, then we generally can point them in the right direction. The Back 40 Folk Festival put on 3 coffee houses for us this year. It's been such a wonderful gift to have them involved in our organization since the first of these free coffee houses in 2017. And they'll be back at the end of this month on the 25th, if anybody's interested. As we continue to grow our cultural programming this year, in 2024, we were excited to partner with Winkler, the Winkler Heritage Society's archive to display a number of photographs, models, literature, documents, and fabric items from Winkler's history. Also new for 2024 was our involvement in Manitoba Culture Days. The goal was to organize free cultural programming and events each fall for communities all over Canada. And this year, the Discovery Nature Sanctuary planned nature tours, the library held a cultural story time, and we had a Back 40 music night during that time. We're working to grow this even bigger and better, and we're hoping for 5 to even 10 free events for the community this year. Next, looking at our kids programming, we spent a lot of time and so much, and the motivation is there for, definitely for us to make sure that there's always something for children to do within our building. The final tally this year was we had 340 children across all of our children's classes, camps, and field trips. As mentioned before, we held 10 six-week after-school kids classes, and for 6 weeks we ran a summer art camp for kids aged 5 to 12. We also had 7 classroom field trips organized. These kids not only got a guided tour of the gallery that included discussion about the different artwork, but they also got a group art activity that challenged them to work with many different mediums on individual and group projects. Our workshops, so in addition to running a number of acrylic and watercolor workshops this year, a few highlights were the stained glass workshop. We had a group from Pinawa Bay come down and provide that, and they're coming back again this year. We had a Senka, if I'm saying that right, the Ukrainian egg painting workshop, a number of different floral and wreath arrangements or workshops for those, as well as vision boarding. And a few other things that were a big hit again this year. We brought back Chalk the City, which was enjoyed not only by kids, but a number of adults as well. We had 103 entries, and everyone who participated won at least a small prize, and we also had some larger weekly prizes donated by local businesses. And we also held our first fundraiser dinner after a number of years taking that off due to COVID. Lakes and Pines did a stripped down set for us, and Kevin Funk provided a 4-course meal. It was a great initial turnout, and we're hoping to make this a bigger and an annual event going forward. So collaborations with nonprofits and giving back. We understand that our nonprofit organizations can't exist without support of the community, and when we see an opportunity to give back or work together with other, to support another organization, we'll always do our best to help them meet their needs. This past year, we provided reduced cost or free rental of our gallery to organizations in need of space for their fundraisers, their meetings, their information sessions, and other events. We've also partnered with groups to make a bigger impact. Just to name a few, together with Regional Connections, we host the Newcomer Welcome Evenings together. We've worked with Clay Owl and Gateway Resources to host family movie and pottery paint nights. We've collaborated with the Winkler Archive, as I mentioned earlier, for a dedicated exhibit, and held our annual high school art show with Garden Valley School Division. So don't be surprised when you're seeing this list of logos or that you see there. Next year, we're hoping to do even more than that. To share a little bit about what we're hearing from the community, we did a community survey this past, I guess, late summer, early fall. There was definitely some constructive criticism in there that we take to heart, and we really want to make sure that we are molding ourselves around what the community wants and what the community needs. So there's some comments there about how we can change our programming, add new programming, so we're always looking at those to continue to grow in those beneficial ways. We also received some really positive feedback from participants. From our community surveys question, their responses to the question, how has Winkler Arts and Culture positively impacted the community? And one was, it is so good to have some variety in culture that can be experienced throughout the year. And the second, I think the presence of a center for art and culture is always a positive presence for a community. It is a safe space for people who wouldn't otherwise think of exhibiting their art. And that's very much a common theme in our community is not everyone feels like my artwork is for others. And they don't always understand that the value that it brings to other people's lives. And so it's great that more and more people are coming out of the woodwork. Sometimes literally it's woodworking. And they've been able to share that with everyone and also just feel motivated to continue doing what they're doing. From our summer art camp survey, we had a couple of comments. First one, really, and this was a number of conversations I had with parents over the summer, was how much they appreciated having an artistic option. There's obviously sports, we're a big sports town, absolutely, totally respect it, but it's nice to have a few other options, and they were happy that we were one of them as well. And then the second one here is, and I just edited a little bit for their privacy, is our child who has been dealing with a lot of mental health challenges this past year. It was so great for them to have, for them to be able to make friends and share their joy of art and creativity with others their age. They really had so much fun. So these comments just remind me why the work we do is not just paint and clay as some might think. At the end of the day, it's really promoting well-being, it's social connectedness, it's knowledge sharing, and it's providing opportunities to learn and grow. So lastly, just looking ahead, we've got some goals for 2025. We're setting some ambitious goals, some of which are increasing the number of exhibits that we run each year from 10 to 12. We had just talked about scaling it back, and I found opportunity to well, if you add it all up, almost double it here. So 12 main gallery exhibits. We've also reopened our second gallery upstairs for some additional exhibits, as well as 6 months of time available for members to just display. If they don't have a whole exhibit, not a problem. You can have 1 or 2 pieces up there for a few months. So just trying to create more opportunity. So that will open in February. We're also growing our after-school art classes from 10 to 12 classes this coming year. We're developing both a more refined field trip program I mentioned about before. That was just the starting point. We've got a lot of bigger ideas, as well as birthday party options for to increase possibilities for children to get involved at the gallery. And we're targeting over 50. We're jumping from 38 in 2024. I'm hoping for 50 events and workshops this year, focusing even more on cultural experiences, adult workshops, and then also free, probably almost always free, but if anything, a very low cost for a drop-in, different kinds of like a sketch club and different things that people can just come in and participate, without any barriers being in the way. The overarching theme here is to provide more opportunities and get more people involved in both arts and cultural events and programs. We want those who come in our doors to feel like they have a home here. I think that's everything. Thank you very much for your time. Yeah. I don't know if there's any questions or.
Do we have any questions?
Well, I've been on the board for years, on and off, for years. Anyways, just great job, you guys, Jared and Valerie, for your leadership, and to me, it's just how it's evolving from just, from just paintings to cultural to classes to lots of other things, which is just great to see. Yeah, wonderful to see.
Excellent. Any other thoughts or comments?
No, just commend you for the growth that you're starting to see now. It's good. We've been through different times there, right?
Yeah,
And
we have
it's-
been.
it's,
For sure.
We bumped along a bit at
Yeah.
times,
Yeah,
but-
definitely some challenges, but things are looking really positive right
It's
now.
awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations, yeah.
Wonderful.
I'll echo the comments we've heard already. Thank you very much for the work that you do there. Thank you as well for coming here this evening and sharing that with us. Every single year when we sit down and we look at our budget, we have to make decisions around the different pieces. And it helps when we have this additional context and an understanding of what's happening. So much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We will then take it to questions from the media or public relevant to this meeting of council. Not seeing anything. We will then move to be it resolved that this regular meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding an in-camera meeting for items of a preliminary nature. Mover?
Michael?
Peter got it. Michael got the second. All in favor? We're carried.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jared.
Have a
Thanks,
good
Val.
evening. Yeah. Thank you.